Oh, it's in the other.
Ew.
Okay, okay, I find it. I find it. I find it. Yeah, yeah,
With the
yeah.
Oh,
You
spam.
know,
All ZCL emails come to spam.
look at this. This CCIE doesn't even know how Google Drive works.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 21 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and stray cats won't stop coming to my doorstep. With me, I have my co-host, the Hot Dad, who calls that a free meal.
Ain't no way I'm eating a cat, but it's because you guys keep throwing all the fish heads out by the front door. So it's kind of your fault, dude. You get what you sow. You reap what you sow.
That's true. That's true. If I stop that, then maybe they'll stop coming around. And we do not have Glenn this week. We wish him well and hope he will return next week.
Where's Glenn? I thought he's on right now.
Our guest this week is Michael Chen, who is not Glenn, who came in clutch by showing up with less than a 6-hour notice. Michael was a co-chair on our AAPI Employee Resource Group, and nowadays you can find him over at Sierra. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
thanks, Chris. Yeah. Too bad Glenn is not here, Brian. But sometimes I do look like Glenn knows, right? People sometimes make a mistake. So, but I'm actually the better looking ones. So again,
I was going to say the same thing.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. It's my pleasure to be on your podcast. I think this is not actually the first one. So I'm on this podcast. I think that was the first one. It was like a couple of years ago. I think you did one at WeWork. On that one, it's probably you had like a master number of the people attended the podcast. I remember you was a team meeting in the WeWork, and you invited everybody on the podcast. I'm the one of them. So
yeah, I was with Mike and Paul and Ben and Glenn. And I think that's probably actually the largest number of people we had at a podcast was probably that one. Yeah, and then you were there. And then Brian joined remotely.
It was unlistenable.
It was not ideal.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk too much because just too many people there.
Yeah. We learned our lesson and we haven't done it ever since. But glad to have you back.
All of the talking time today, Mike. So no one else can talk today, just you.
Oh my God! Can I go back to prepare again?
Combined, we have decades of information security experience here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about a closing the loop topic. Coinbase plays an Uno reverse card on some hackers. LockBit gets taken down again. For our third topic, the U.S. charges people into crypto theft. And we'll close with airline luggage talk. Closing the loop on a story we covered last week, the hacker who stole the data from PowerSchool has pled guilty to the hacking scheme. The hacker successfully phished the credentials of a telecom employee, and that telecom employee was contracted to work for PowerSchool. Through that access, he downloaded the entire database and successfully extorted a ransom payment through PowerSchool. However, as we reported last week, individual school districts are now being extorted, so the hacker did not delete the data as they promised to do. There's no word if the original hacker is the same one that is re-extorting the schools, but the person originally responsible for the hack is now in handcuffs.
Oh no, meaningless records are out there on the internet of my kids and my password. I don't care. We're a PowerSchool family over here. That's what they use in the school district. Yeah.
Oh man. So you got the email, you got the notice?
No, I'm reading about this right now because I didn't listen to last week's podcast as I ducked out so soon. I had no idea that they got popped, but hey, it was about to happen.
Yep.
Oh, it's through the contractor again, right? So, that's all the zero trust training. All the zero trust training we need to give to those third party contractors.
That's always the case. Yeah, you don't attack PowerSchool, you attack their vendor, and then you go in through the vendor account.
Through the back door.
Always the back door. You don't go through the front door. You go through the back door or a side window, whatever is open.
Or the VPN. VPN's always open.
Yep, through the VPN. But it's good. They got this guy. Unfortunately, I think he shared the data. Somebody got a hold of the data. Maybe this guy actually did delete the data, but there was a copy somewhere else, and all these school districts are getting ransomed. And the timing's a little bit curious that they found this guy, they arrested him, he pled guilty, yet someone else is out there trying to re-extort these school districts. So it seems like it's probably not him doing it, and somebody just got a hold of the data and is like, ooh, let's monetize this, and they're going after the individual school districts.
I mean, it's a pretty good turnaround though, from breach to arresting someone. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
What does your Spidey sense actually say, Chris? That he's a fall guy? It's not actually real?
Maybe. I don't know, he's a fall. He might have done the initial hack. So I do believe this guy did the initial hack. And I don't know if he sold the data or if he actually legitimately deleted it, because, like in ransomware, your word is your bond, just similar to any other kind of business transaction. That say, if you pay me to delete the data, I should delete the data, because if I go to the next person and say I promise to delete the data and I don't, they're not going to pay. So I'm incentivized to actually delete the data.
You act like changing your identity online is that difficult. Like, it's the backdoor boys got you again, and then I take all the money, leave it there, and then I steal somebody else's stuff, and then it's like the front door boys are at it again. Like, no connection at all.
Backdoor Boys Part 2. No affiliation.
Backdoor boys are back. I don't know. That was horrible. Sorry.
Oh,
how much money did they get on that little extortion?
They won't say. PowerSchool won't say. The FBI won't say. Even in like the indictment, for this particular individual, they don't name PowerSchool. They just said like a school SaaS provider, something like that. Like they make it very generic, but it's like really obvious who it is, because it lines up perfectly with the PowerSchool hack.
So what's actually on there? I mean, your grades, parental information, the kids' information, if you're on free lunch, and then I think some of the sports stuff as well. That's all. Like, did you take the concussion test? Like, I don't know that there's really anything on there that's worth value.
I think the part parents should be most concerned about, I think there were like disciplinary records there, and there were some medical records there. So if like your child has a medical condition that the school needs to know about, or if you have like a 504 plan or something like that was in there. If there were
a lot of PI,
a lot PII, exactly,
like
They're like, if there's allegations of assault, if there's teenage pregnancy.
The kids already have all their
like
PII
that
on TikTok and Instagram.
So
I
don't.
Look, now it's in 3 places.
Yeah. So the Brian kind of interesting. He mentioned like kids like like the school, right? Like the school report, right? So as you guys know, I grew up in China, right? So there's no such like PI protection for kids' school grade, right? So they basically, after exam, right, the teacher actually putting everybody's score on the wall, right? So everybody know like, oh no, I did good on this, I did it better, right? So do you want to shame the kids who did it bad in the exam? But of course we can.
We really grow up in China?
Yeah, I grew up in China. Yeah.
What city were you in?
The city of Nanjing. So it used to be the capital in China, like for China before the Civil War broke up, right? So, and then, the capital was moving to Beijing. So, yeah, that was capital when the National Party was the ruling party before the Civil War breakup.
So, how old were you when you left?
I left when I I basically so I met my wife in the elementary school, but we didn't date, right? So until college. So after the finish of the college, my wife decided went to Canada to get a master degree in Canada, right? So and then I know the long distance. We all know long distance relationship never worked, right? So then I just followed her to Canada. So and then that's why I'm here. Yeah.
Holy crap! How many languages can you speak?
Well, I only speak English and Mandarin. But I understand in Cantonese. Wow. I don't speak Cantonese, but that's another dialogue in China, right? But like a lot of people when they listening, people speak Mandarin and Cantonese. It sounds like two completely different language, but just different dialogue. So
I love that your wife flew across the entire Pacific and moved to a whole other country to get rid of you, and you followed her.
yes.
I can't get rid of this guy.
She's like, oh.
Yeah, I know. It's a long time, right? I think we married since it's a long time. 26 years. So. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
congratulations, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah, so just one thing, your wife is always right. If sometimes she's wrong, that's a test to you.
Yeah. Just an interesting side note, since you mentioned you met who would soon be your wife in elementary school, and my kids, I have a son, he's in elementary school right now, and he has girls that like to hang out with
plural.
him. And there's sometimes I bring up the fact I had a girlfriend in kindergarten, my son can have a girlfriend in kindergarten. I think my wife seems a little bit miffed that I had a girlfriend in kindergarten, and it still shows that many, many, many years later, she's just like, oh, you had a girlfriend in kindergarten.
I think it's more that we're surprised that you had a girlfriend. She dated you hoping for a glow up, and she's still waiting. So poor Grace. We love her, though.
We love her, indeed. All right, for our first topic, the U.S.'s largest cryptocurrency exchange, Coinbase, received a $20 million ransom demand to destroy customer data that was stolen from them. Hackers successfully bribed an employee from a third-party company in India that Coinbase uses for customer support. The support employee stole customer information, including full name, all the contact information, and account balances. The information on only about 1% of Coinbase's customer base was stolen, so they did have a little bit of separation of duties and containment there. But that information was used to successfully social engineer some of Coinbase's customers who got their cryptocurrency stolen. Coinbase has pledged to reimburse all users who lost money due to the exposure. Now, instead of paying the $20 million ransom to the hackers to destroy the data, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has pledged to give a $20 million reward to whoever provides information and snitches on these hackers to get them successfully convicted. Now, I think we need more of this. Instead of paying that $15 million, $20 million ransom to the hackers, you should offer this up as a bounty and say, if you catch these hackers, we'll give the money to you instead. And that's a pretty good incentive to try to get these hackers arrested.
Agreed. I think this is, I can get behind this idea.
Yeah, this is the first time I heard about it, right? So, I mean, we definitely need more like this, right? So, so definitely first time I heard some company does that. Yeah.
So Brian Armstrong, if you're listening, it was Chris Louie. He lives in Sunnyvale, California. He drives a Ford Focus, and I'll take the $20 million directly deposited. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we've had our U.S. State Department has announced $10 million ransoms against various ransomware groups across the years, but this is the first time I believe a private company has put up such a large bounty to get the hackers. Cloudflare. I like the fact that Cloudflare on the patent troll thing, they never came into patent trolls. They spend more money fighting the patent trolls than it would take to just settle this and give them what they want. But it's the principle of it. Yes. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. This is a scourge on the industry. Let's get rid of it once and for all, and we're willing to pay for it. And that's what I guess really excites me about what he did here.
Yep. Yeah, you wanted.
So you're saying they're litigation trolls. All right.
Yep. Yeah, you wanted 20 million ransom, but I'm gonna just pay 20 million to get you catched. So.
Yeah, think about that though. You're if you saw this, you're oh my god. Wait a second. You gotta I thought I had my tracks covered, but do I have $20 million worth of covering my tracks? No, you don't. There's gonna be a weak link in there.
Exactly. So who did I brag about this too. Like, what Discord servers was I on that I posted proof of this hack? And like, uh-oh. It's like they got me looking over their shoulder that says $20 million is a pretty good incentive for somebody to snitch here.
Yeah. I think when you said at the beginning, you said that Coinbase is playing the Uno card. I think it was the Babylon Bee this week that released, you know who Babylon Bee is, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
they're like
satirical website, yeah.
Yeah, it said Trump renamed Uno to One, and it's the exact same cards. It's just called One now.
The Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And again, right, it's a social engineering angle for this data breach.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's so common. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I teach a lot. Like I teach our new hires here, like our technical people here, when I teach new hire classes, and I say you could have the absolute best DLP controls, sandboxing, cybersecurity controls, but the weakest link is always the user.
Yeah. And
you offer that user $1 million, you offer them whatever to do something nefarious, they likely will do it. Like you work at I don't know how many employees Coinbase has, call it 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 employees. There's somebody there that's going to be vulnerable, even through a vendor or through a contractor. And that was the case here. It's like, how do you limit the exposure of it? And I think they did a pretty good job because they said less than 1% of their customer base was actually exposed. Mm-hmm. That they had, if you just outsourced it and said you have 100% access to our customer base, this could have been a lot worse. But they seem to have contained it pretty well. I think the latest figure was they're facing maybe $100 to $400 million in losses due to this breach. Still a lot of money, but it could have been a lot worse.
I think the weakest link was Legends of Zelda. That game sucked.
I like Legends of Zelda. Ocarina of Time. Come on.
No idea what you're talking about. I just wandered around aimlessly from screen to screen, never knowing what the hell I was going.
But yeah, there's always going to be bad actors, and that's what we always preach in cybersecurity. It's the insider threat. The threat won't always come from externally. Sometimes it's got to be internal, and you have to have proper controls around that.
Oh, by the way, Glenn's not here, which is cool. We love him. But Victor didn't show up because it was past his bedtime. So,
it was.
Little baby Victor.
So is Victor supposed to be here on this one?
Yeah. He's like, it's so late.
We did invite him.
He's probably doing his facial routine.
Yeah, and he's young, right? So, like the older guy like me showed up, but of course he's 3 hours ahead of me. So
he's 34 years old. Yeah, his only responsibility is a dog.
Just dog.
Yeah. And his Mazda.
Yeah.
So did you guys see him at the RSA? I think he was in the RSA, right?
He was. I missed him. And I struck out. The only person I saw was Chris. And that was kind of a letdown.
I saw him before RSA started, but yeah, he was in town early for that.
They barbecued together. They made chicken. You know what we need to do is like when we're all together, we should hey dude, we're having a good time, right? And we're like, we all got food. We got you a vegetarian option. And then he's like, oh, great. And then as he's eating it, like, there's chicken in there. You don't eat chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that'd be so funny. Like, oh, we got you like a veggie curry right there. No, that's cauliflower, right? And then he'll just be munching on it like an idiot. I think this would be gold. We should try it. Victor, if you're listening, don't listen.
Yeah, good idea.
He either could tell that it's in there, or his stomach will tell him that night. Because I've heard that too. Like people that go full vegan, vegetarian, the second they eat like a tiny piece of meat, their like stomach turns inside out because they don't know how to deal with it.
He won't even notice. I guarantee it. Unless we tell him, he'll be like, "Man, I'm gonna get some more. I want seconds." He'll have it for breakfast. He'll be drinking with a straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, there's so many people that are like him that are probably pissed off with me.
Yeah, I know. Like
I'm gonna do it.
Like he probably regret now. He didn't come to this podcast this evening. So so otherwise he can defend himself. So
sure, we always roast the people that drop out and can't make it.
Yeah. So there's a Snowflake Summit. I think the week after next week in San Francisco. Any of you guys going?
I love how you thought of Victor and thought, oh yes, Snowflake.
He's
There's
a snowflake.
I see what you did there, Mr. Chen. Good job. No, I'm not going.
Yeah, I don't think we have a presence there, but good on you if you're able to make it. Give me a call.
Yeah, I will do some boots duty there. So I will definitely reach out to you, Chris.
Yeah. All right, for our second topic, LockBit 4.0 is officially dead. The ransomware gang suffered a data breach and dark web affiliate panels were defaced and replaced with a message linking to a MySQL database dump. The database dump includes Bitcoin addresses. That's going to be just a gold mine to all those Bitcoin forensic companies out there. Custom builds of their malware for their specific affiliates. Chat logs from their ransom negotiations, and ransomware affiliate user accounts with their passwords stored in, wait for it, plain text. Some passwords included Weekend Lover 69,
Yeah, well, that's
Moving
dumber.
Bricks 69420, and LockBit Proud 231. It's unclear who carried out the breach and how it was done, but the defacement message matches one used in a recent breach of Everest Ransomware's dark web site. And it basically just said, don't do crime, crime is bad. Last year, law enforcement did a coordinated takedown of LockBit 3.0, so are they finally gone for good? And if they come back as LockBit 5.0, will anyone really trust them? Because they could also be a law enforcement sting operation in disguise.
So hear me out. Moving Bricks 69420. It's Elon, because his car is like this. So the dynamics is basically a brick. And remember when we took the Model S and priced it at $69,420?
Yep, $69,420. Yep.
I think it's
that's
actually
a good
Elon.
theory.
Wow.
That's a good theory.
I'm not wrong. And speaking of like the Bitcoin stuff and what'd you call it? The what kind of people? Analysis people?
The Bitcoin forensic people like Chainalysis and Eclipsium.
I think Chainalysis can 100% replace 99% of their people with AI. Like that's literally probably the easiest thing you do is like, I have these addresses, go search, right? Like that. I think like a good find and replace would do wonders on the blockchain. So maybe not a replace, but just a find and then coordinate. I don't think you need human beings for that anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if forensic accountants are going to be replaced by AI eventually, because it is a lot of like tedious work and correlating data, and AI is really good at doing that. Yeah.
They suck at a lot of other things lately. I've been using it. Just disappointment after disappointment. I'm sure Michael remembers that back in grade school and elementary. Probably heard that a lot, right? You're a disappointment.
Yeah.
You're putting the grades up on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness.
I think taking them down is good. LockBit was just a scourge on these companies out there, taking them down and also just sowing distrust. I think there's something to be said about that when they come back, are they an FBI sting operation? Can we really trust them? And sowing that distrust, I think, does a lot of damage to them too, which is equally important as actually taking them down. Their affiliates will just have to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I can confidently say I never use LockBit, so it doesn't impact me at all.
Yeah. So do you think the potential the law enforcement is on them as well?
I think so. It's law enforcement or some type of intelligence agency that may or may not be operating in a murky area of hacking forward and defending forward, and they happen to stumble upon maybe some credentials to their dark web portal and own them that way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any love lost that this hacking group is gone. Like that's a net positive on the world there.
Exactly.
All right, so passwords are ridiculous. Like I don't even understand Like, even if this was in a rainbow table, like, be guessed very easily. So Weekend Lover 69 makes sense. I get it. Moving bricks, right? Like, that's, I'm a drug dealer, 69420. But LockBit Proud 231. What is 231? What's that number about?
I don't know, maybe they didn't want to do 321 or 123.
It's not code for, like, put your pants on before your shoes?
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
LockBit Proud. That's like one of those slogans somewhere.
Well, I hear proud, then I think, maybe it's like a gay pride month. Maybe 231 is the number of genders that they support. I don't know.
Code for something. Yeah, it's possible.
Code for something, right?
Yeah.
A good question for AI.
Or ask Victor. He might know.
He would definitely know.
231. Yeah, I don't know the significance of that other than it's just a scrambled 123. Password complexity requirements don't seem too bad here in terms of
not even one special
letters.
character.
I know, right? There's no special characters, no @ sign, no exclamation mark instead of the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they're gone for good, and we won't have to worry about them, and all the LockBit people will just get scattered to other groups.
Or they just turn to the good side. Just make a little U-turn. Do some good in the world. Yeah. ChatGPT knows nothing about what 231 can be. Maybe they just smashed the configure. The 231. Maybe he's one of those guys or girls where the opposite ring finger is longer than the middle finger. So as they went and jammed it down, it just boom. That's what would happen with mine. If I took all 3 fingers and I pushed it at the same time, let's see. He's looking at disguise. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 3. All right. Not gonna happen. It was close though. It was close. Tell me.
For our third topic, this is actually our third ransomware story this week. The United States Department of Justice has charged 12 more people linked to the theft and laundering of $230 million in cryptocurrency that we reported on last year.
Wow, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of scratch, as Brian would say.
Yeah, it's a lot of bricks.
Crypto fraud investigator Zach XBT, who assisted the FBI investigators, revealed that the group targeted a creditor of the Genesis crypto exchange using a spoofed phone number and impersonating customer support at Google and Gemini. While posing as a Gemini support representative, they deceived the victim into resetting two-factor authentication and also sharing their screen via the AnyDesk help desk tool after claiming his account had been compromised, which gave them access to private keys. The money was stolen, and that's all she wrote. The thieves spent the money on going to nightclubs where they spent $500,000 a night or more. They bought luxury handbags that they handed out at said nightclub outings, luxury cars, rented luxury mansions, and luxury clothes.
They rented luxury clothes?
They bought luxury clothes.
They bought luxury clothes.
You should have specified that in your Just kidding.
Well,
Now, if you remember, the hackers were initially caught because they uploaded a video of the hack online. I don't know, they posted this on Discord for some online cloud, but they made the mistake when they opened the actual Windows Start menu, and they were using Windows 11, so again, mistake number 2 there. It showed the hacker's full name, which was his real name.
Damn.
On the video they posted? Sorry.
Yeah, on the video they posted like, oh yeah, we stole $230 million. Check out this video. And then when he hit start menu, it showed the guy's full name. And it was his real name.
Do you think, like, you just, like, dumb moments in human history, right? Like, why would you have your real name on there? Why, and then better yet, why are they running Windows? I don't even know. This is crazy.
So that's like the juxtaposition we always talk about. Like, smart enough to steal $230 million, dumb enough to post a video online with your real name.
Yeah.
So did are those 12 people's identity like published? Like, are they kids or Like
it is. Like when I looked at the actual indictment, I think the ages range from something like 19 to 23, and there was like I think 15 people involved, and they were all within that age range. So these are, I mean, like you can't call them kids, but like they're adults. They should be charged as adults, but they're still young. Like full frontal lobe development not there yet.
I think I say full frontal nudity. It's like, what are we talking about here? Gee. Well, hey, good for them. They'll do it again. That's a dub, though. At least they had fun. They went out.
They went out with the bang for sure. Like,
how long ago was this? Was this over a year or within the last 12 months? I think
it was within the last 12 months. I want to say this happened late last year, late 2024, I think.
I mean, the grass is greener because, like, now that you've been busted, eventually you'll get out, right? And then you have a cool story to tell everyone. Before then, you had to be selective on who you tell.
Yeah.
And they can write a book. There'll be a Netflix movie on it.
Yeah.
They'll change the race of the perpetrators, yeah.
Yeah.
There's this story, and then I remember I think not a week or two later, there's a story where I guess the parents of the person that stole this money, they were like driving in a brand new Lamborghini, and they were looking for a brand new luxury home, and then they got like kidnapped basically because like, we know who your son is. We know your son stole this money. Like, give us this ransom or we're going to do something terrible to your parents. And eventually they let him go. But it was not very good OPSEC, I would say. So first of all, you showed your real name online. Second of all, you bought your parents a brand new Lamborghini, so not keeping a low profile. Third of all, you're looking for a brand new luxury house. Like, this just screams of you just came into some money illicitly, and they're a good target for being kidnapped.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're young, right? So, when you're stealing that much money, and then what you should do is maybe hiding yourself for 6 months and, before you spending that, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like they were smart enough to try to launder the money. So they sent it to do like, Tornado Cash, these mixers, and convert it to Monero, which is harder to track. Like, so they are clever in that way, but still stupid enough to not lay low for a certain period of time. Don't buy your parents a brand new Lamborghini. Like, that just throws up, more red flags than a Chinese military parade.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. Mike gets that more than else. Actually... Do you ever miss living in China at all?
Well, there's when I grew up as kids, right? So, you play in the muds, like at that time, there's not much computer games, right? Because, when I listening, the previous podcast, you guys spend a lot of time, right? Especially when Glenn is here, right? Talk about computer games. But at that time when I grew up, right? So there's not much computer games, right? So just basically after school, group of kids, play the muds, right? Fighting each other, right? So I mean, like you get a fun from it, right? But like China changed it quite a bit, right? So after I left it there, so especially on the economy side, so yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a big change in 99 or early 2000s when China entered the WTO, and
yep.
It was just. That was all she wrote, that they just entered the globalization market and just took over.
Yeah, that's the time, the 1999, that's the time I left. So, yeah.
So you missed that then?
So maybe I will be more rich if I stayed. Stealing some Bitcoins.
I guess we forgot to mention, Michael has his CCIE from Cisco.
Oh, yeah. Do you also have you have to edit this one out. Do you have your CCCS?
CCCS? What's the CCCS?
Right. Oh, it's Costco, or not Costco, Cisco certified.
Yes. Oh, the first time I heard that.
Yeah. Not a fan over here.
Yeah.
But good job, dude. I like, joking aside, I don't know that I definitely don't have it. And I think you have to be a pretty bright individual to do that. So good job.
Well, you look at the how much the technology changes, right? So I think when I get that, that's a long time ago. And then at that time, right? So for you to programming the network, right? You basically type this CRI, right? So how much command line you remembers, right? In your brain, how faster you can, configure OSPF or BGP, right? So you match that from there. There's automation, right? So now is the age of the AI, right? So it's just amazing when you looking back, how much it changed in the technology world. So of course, so much things changed in the cyber security landscape as well.
It's like now you just ask ChatGPT, like, give me the Cisco iOS command to open a BGP route to this IP address, and they'll just spit it out. Like
that's easy. It's
it's like so much. It's so much more automated now.
Yeah,
I think something that would take years of training to do is just you can get in 10 seconds through ChatGPT or Grok. Yeah, go back to the story here of these kids that spent $500K a night at nightclubs, and it's sort of related to the Coinbase story we covered in topic 1 here, that if you have somebody's full contact information and you have their account balance, so if I happen to know that Todd Morton lives in this city and he has like $3 million in crypto on Coinbase, like that's pretty dangerous, even though it's, you can't hack his account, but I can look him up in the phone book, find him, and say, I know you have $3 million in Bitcoin. You got to send it to me, or I'm going to do violence towards you. So there's that aspect of it too. Just having the person's full contact information and account balance, like that's still pretty dangerous, even if I don't have the chops to socially engineer him into giving me access to his account.
Mm-hmm.
Good old violence as a service. All right, for our last topic, it will be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to talk about locking your luggage. And I thought this was interesting. I saw an article pop up in the Wall Street Journal that's basically asked, like, do you lock your luggage when you travel by airplane? And, I have my TSA lock. I use it all the time, but I also know that this TSA lock can be picked in 3 seconds with a low-skilled attack, and there are also universal master keys out there in the wild everywhere. Only about 40% of Americans secure their luggage, according to a recent study with one of these TSA-approved locks. So to me, it just seems like more of a security theater.
So I've seen people that just go through the zipper. They can just break through the zipper way easier than you could the lock. Have you seen that?
Yes, so I have seen that. There is actually a video that was recommended to me through YouTube where there's like an ex-Delta Force guy online, and he says you can get into like basically any zipper bag. You just stab the zipper with a ballpoint pen, and it'll just open. It'll just split.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Chris,
go
ahead, Brian.
Go for it.
Well, I was wondering, like, Chris, you have one of those, the TSA approved locker?
I have a luggage that actually has like the built-in lock. So it's like a 3-digit combination, and it's just built in. And I use that. I almost always forget to lock it. Like if somebody forces me to check in my because it's a check-in bag, or not a check-in bag, it's a carry-on bag. And if they force me to check it in, I forget to scramble the numbers. But I'm like, I never get the little card that says like, TSA opened your bag and inspected it. But sometimes I forget to scramble it, and I guess it's just more security theater.
Bless you. I have the PEBCAK backpack. Have you ever used that one?
I have not.
So I mean, it's obviously I'm not going to check it, but it's supposed to be like tamper-proof. Like you can't cut through it, and then can't break through the zipper. And then they have like these interchangeable locks or locking mechanisms. Like you can actually lock it with a lock, or you can just like if somebody's behind you trying to go through your stuff and unzip it gently, they'd have to really kind of disturb things for that to happen.
That's pretty good. Like I've seen some videos of people like traveling in Europe, and some of the pickpockets there are pretty sophisticated. And some of they slash the bottom of your bag, or they try to unzip it slowly and quietly. So maybe that's a good use for that.
Yeah, I just got my very first check-in luggage that has the built-in 3-digit password on there, and I guess I do it. whatever, right?
Yeah.
It just stops the what do you call those things? The metal parts you pull on from jiggling around. It's kind of nice.
The thing attached to the zipper.
Isn't that just the zipper?
Yeah.
The zipper lever?
The pull.
Zipper handle?
Zipper pull.
The pull. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the TSA locks, I think the purpose is to keep honest people honest. Like if it's just sitting there, like sometimes I'll leave a bag temporarily if I have to go like grab food from the pickup window. I'll leave my bag at the table, and it's meant to like keep honest people honest, but it's not gonna keep any kind of determined actor from staying out of my bag.
Yeah.
And then,
do you lock your stuff up, Mike?
Well, so if it's checking the luggage, right? So, what I normally do, because you're not supposed to lock it up, right? So, like, even I have the similar thing, like Chrissy mentioned, like those digit, like, like rolling well, right? So with the digits, you can select, right? So what I do is that I actually always put into the default, right? So default is 000. But sometimes I actually put, just to show the plan password, like I actually put a sticker right beside the locker and put there 000 is default code. So I actually put that sticker there right in there because the what I'm worried about is that even I always put it into that default digit, right? So you never know, right? Maybe like sometimes people move the luggage, some people incidentally like roll the well, whatever, right? So it's no longer become the default, right? They might have to, if they need to check the luggage, they might have to figure out a way to break in, right? So that's the reason, like, like I do not set a password, but in case it changed, there's a sticker right beside the lock tell you what the default password is. So.
Security through obscurity.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
This guy's not dumb enough to post his password on the luggage.
Yeah,
if
some people,
possibly do that.
Some people stealing my luggage, I'm down. So because like the first it's not locked because it's a default code. The second there's a piece of paper, right, a sticker beside the locker, tell you what the default code is. So yeah,
it's going back to the OSI model. Layer 1 physical access. Like if someone has physical access to your luggage, like they'll find a way to get
I
in.
know,
It's like,
I know.
Just don't lose physical access to your
yeah.
luggage.
No matter it's a zipper, no matter it's like different type of locks, man. If people physically took your luggage, they're gonna figure out a way to to open it.
Yeah, like for me, if there's something valuable, I throw it in my backpack because I never have to check my backpack in. And if it's valuable enough, I'll throw it in there.
Yeah.
I feel like if they stole mine, they'd be like, man, this guy's shoes stink and the underwear, the crotch is all stretched out. I'll never
enjoy that staph infection.
Why did he pack like an entire thing of Irish Spring soap like a bar? This is how I roll. You know what I'm saying? There's not much in there that I think would be worth value. It'd be an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if someone steals your luggage, it's inconvenient, but it's not like a total loss.
Yeah. So normally people do that. They need to have some kind of target, right? They need to like kind of know, there's a valuables inside the luggage, right? So just like Brian said, right? I stealing the luggage, and when I get home, open up, it's just all dirty clothes in there, right? So,
sometimes it's a numbers game. Like I've read these stories of airport baggage handlers or just airport luggage thieves that just steal whatever they can, and hopefully they find like a laptop or an iPad or jewelry or some kind of luxury items that they can resell. Sometimes it's just a numbers game. They just grab random luggages, and if your number's up, you're just unlucky.
So you guys all do air tags in your luggage, right?
Yes, I do now.
Okay. So does anyone find it remotely weird at all that like AirTag is like NFC, right?
Yeah.
Communication, or is it Bluetooth? Like
it's
low.
Both.
Okay.
BLE.
Like why?
Yeah.
Why on earth does my phone allow your crappy AirTag to let you ping through me your location? Like there's something just wrong with that. You know that, right?
It's the network effect that there's.
I understand it, but like,
there.
how do I turn that off? Just lockdown mode, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know. Lockdown mode might turn off BLE. Just turn off Bluetooth completely, but then you can't use things like AirPods or any kind of Bluetooth.
I just want to get on my phone and do like, I don't know what the equivalency would be, but like I'd love to do like a netstat-an. And it's like I guarantee I'm gonna see like Chris Louie connected to me, like we're in the same room, and like we have no say over that. You realize like how like crazy that is. And then the other day I was like, not only that, but like if I'm like we were at the RSA thing, and someone's like, hey, what's the password? I'm like, here, I'll share it with you. I'm like, don't you think that's weird that our phones know that we're close to each other?
Yeah.
Like we should have something to say about it. Like, oh no, it goes out to it's an iCloud thing. And I was like, okay, I guess like it's doing that stuff, but still it's kind of in the background. But what's even more messed up is that I think that's BS, because I was in my hotel room and my iPad doesn't have internet, right? There is no beaconing back home, but my iPhone does, right? And that immediately just said share password with the iPad. That thing had no access to the internet. It was talking locally, right? Just there on that little, within, the 10 feet. Like that's kind of BS. I don't like it.
Yeah. Some kind of Apple proprietary protocol that we don't know about.
Whatever, the Bluetooth ping through the Google phones too.
Yeah.
Right? Or no?
Maybe. I'm sure
or at least Google can track that they're there.
Yeah, I know Google does a lot of like beaconing stuff with like Wi-Fi, and that's how their location data is so good. I don't know what their cross compatibility is with iOS devices though.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I will say that, I did propose to my girlfriend, now wife, in another city, and when I had that ring with me, it stayed on my person the entire time. I did not trust check-in, or I did not trust carry-on. It stayed within my backpack, something very valuable that just I don't trust those airport workers, so I just kept it on me the whole time, and that's pretty much what you have to do. If you have something valuable, like don't check in, or don't even have the threat of being checked in.
Where did you propose that, or is that one of those questions that would like out you on your like after you set a super complex password?
I don't think so.
A lot. Okay.
It was Las Vegas.
Top of let me guess, Circus.
It was a hotel in the city center. Right? I'll say that without outing myself completely. Not the Circus. It was a nice place, Brian. Very classy.
I believe it.
All right, well, you continue to get great comments about our Dad Joke of the Week.
Dad Joke of the Week.
This week, our guest Michael is up.
Okay, you guys ready?
We're ready.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why did the hacker break up with the internet?
Why is that, Michael?
Too many cookies and no privacy.
That's a good one.
That is a good
That's
one.
what happens when you get a Sierra. You get new dad jokes.
Yeah, related to the cybersecurity, right?
Yeah, I know. It's not only a dad joke, it's also related to cybersecurity. So that's a good one. It's better than ransomware.
Well, we had a lot of ransomware talk on this one.
That's true. All right, to wrap things up, the PowerSchool hacker has pled guilty. Coinbase announces a $20 million ransom for the hackers who hacked them. LockBit hopefully is no more. Zach XBT helped catch the hackers who stole that $230 million. And to lock or not to lock your airplane luggage, it really doesn't matter. That's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you for all listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars to the iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and our guest Michael Chen. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia. We're Glenn.
Have a nice day.